The man was piloting a helicopter. Suddenly he discovered that the city began to undulate like seawater. Immediately countless skyscrapers started to collapse. The city instantly fell into chaos, and his wife happened to be inside one of the collapsing skyscrapers. Just as she was about to leave, she was knocked down by violent shaking. When she pushed open the stairwell door, she discovered that the other side had completely collapsed. Outside had already become a living hell, but the wife quickly calmed down. She rushed with the crowd toward the stairs, but just as everyone else was running down, she instead ran toward the rooftop. As soon as she reached the top floor, the floor beneath her suddenly gave way. The next second, the floor carried her slowly downward. When she regained her senses, she frantically tried to climb upward, because only this way could she possibly be found by rescuers. Sure enough, the man arrived just in time, piloting the helicopter, and immediately spotted his wife. He quickly lowered the rescue hoist. His wife rushed onto it, but the next second, even worse, a violent noise came from the neighboring skyscraper, and then, to the man's disbelief, the entire building collapsed with a roar. Towering dust instantly swallowed his vision. Seeing that this building was about to be affected as well, his wife desperately ran toward the rescue hoist, but was swallowed by smoke and dust at the last second. The man quickly pulled the rescue hoist up, only to find it completely empty. Just as he fell into despair, his wife's voice suddenly came into his ears. The man then realized she was clinging desperately to the end of the hoist. He hurriedly pulled her onto the helicopter, but the disaster was far from over. Just as they were about to take off and leave, a skyscraper collapsed toward them. The man fought to control the helicopter, dodging most of the falling debris, but the next second, another skyscraper crashed down on them. Fortunately, with his extraordinary skills, the man carried his wife to safety. Soon after, the two received a distress call from their daughter, so they rushed to San Francisco to find her. But just as their daughter was heading toward the agreed meeting point, a sudden tsunami warning came over the radio. Helpless, they could only head toward the tallest skyscraper in front of them. Immediately, the tsunami swept across the Golden Gate Bridge. Countless vehicles and pedestrians were swallowed by the seawater. The giant wave then surged toward the shore. People were instantly terrified and fled in all directions, but in the face of this terrifying scene, all efforts were futile. Just as the daughter and her friend ran into the skyscraper, they suddenly encountered the oncoming tsunami head-on. They hurriedly searched for cover. The next second, the seawater smashed through the glass, and the enormous impact nearly toppled the skyscraper. The three narrowly survived, but were stunned by the sight before them. Very quickly the water level began to rise rapidly. They could only flee upward. Meanwhile, the man and his wife arrived in San Francisco to search for their daughter, but found no clues at all. Just as they fell into despair, a green laser beam appeared. They turned back in haste to look, and discovered it was their daughter sending the signal. But just as the two wept with joy, the skyscraper suddenly collapsed. Seawater instantly flooded into the building, and the girl was trapped in a narrow space by the seawater, with only a small pocket of air left to breathe.